Good morning. What is happening? Hope everybody's having an amazing morning. Down here in my studio space, and I'm actually going to go out and enjoy some coffee over at the back porch. In fact, I think all my drum stuff, my drum stuff, is on the back porch. My buddy Scott is going away to college. He's going to be moving up this next coming week here to DeKalb, Illinois. Because it's a competition, Mayor. You know what it should be. I encourage that. That's right. Race to my stream. Get here. Guy's cracking me up. Yeah, my buddy Scott going off to Northern Illinois University to get his bachelor's in music, and he wanted to leave some of his equipment with me while he's gone. This nice little Yamaha electronic kit. It's nothing fancy, but it's going to be fun to mess with. I've got my MIDI to USB cable that I usually save for my piano, right? And I'll get this plugged in. And oh, you're out, Dom? That was quick. Cracking me up. It's all good, brother. I appreciate you stopping by. I know work's a thing. I've been doing the 8:30 thing a little bit recently. We'll see where I settle. Eventually, maybe I'll get back to 8 where more people can get there. But yeah, we'll see about that. No guarantees. So yeah, Scott left me a few different cool things that you're going to be seeing more of in the coming days once I get some stuff set up. Hey, Baratic, who making sure who's still at his wrench? Add mod. You have a wrench. There you go, Baratic. Welcome to moderator life for the Big Drum Bear stream. Oh, Dom? Yeah, I usually don't take it away. I'm not one of those too often. Sometimes. All right, so this is this really garbagey old cymbal that he asked me to bring back here. Listen to this. This is awesome. It just sounds like a gong almost. Oh, I love it. I'm gonna kick you. Playing with some gear that my buddy Scott left me to take care of while he's gone in DeKalb, going to Northern Illinois University. Yeah, you're right, Mayor. I can't resist it. It comes out even when I don't mean to, right? And you know, Mayor, I worked that out. Yeah, thank you, Kiki. I'll take more junk in my house that I'm either gonna not use or I'm gonna find a way to use it. Actually, it's an electronic drum setup here, electronic pads that I can plug directly into my laptop, and that's gonna be fun. I'm curious, but right now I'm just grabbing my laptop, and I can sit out in my favorite spot and YouTube with you guys. I like my stairs shelves. Those are interesting. They were in here when we moved in. I've always found them to be unique. All right, back to my spot. So, last night was the first time in a while, like 3 weeks at least, that I slept in more than 3 weeks. First time in that amount of time there that I've slept in the same bed with my beautiful wife and the dogs here and all that jazz. It's kind of awesome. Oh my goodness. Warn you ahead of time. Oh, you know what? I guess I'm just gonna do this all chilling. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I've been doing that for a little bit, but I kind of like sleeping next to my beautiful lady. Sometimes I fall asleep in the living room on the couch, not because I necessarily did anything, but because I like to watch a show or two in the later evening, and I'm busy other times. I don't really have time to do it. So yeah, I'll end up falling asleep there, and I'll still end up trying to climb down to bed at like 2 in the morning, maybe 3. Baratic, you wouldn't happen to be named Ben Shapiro, would you? Your wife's a doctor. Hmm. Um, Baratic says that when he's at home on his Helix mattress on his Bow and Branch sheets, nothing can possibly go wrong, especially because he has a gun and his wife's a doctor. Uh, Promo code Ben. And when you need to cuddle kick him, you do it on Bow and Branch sheets. It's the only way. um, yeah, I was watching some of the Sunday special thing or whatever it's called, the Sunday episode that Ben does the other day, and he had this guy named Ty Lopez on. Now, I've followed Ty Lopez's stuff off and on over the last couple of years, and I've I've dug into a lot of different material that he has. He really inspired me to get reading books, to get into gaining knowledge, is his famous little catchword, right? And he's big on people just learning, right? Anything I've ever seen of this guy, he's always encouraged people to improve their station in life, like to learn, to step outside of their normal boundaries, to realize that um, to make money um, and achieve the things you want to achieve, you have to think differently about it. So he's encouraged people, whether they buy his stuff or not. But when I logged onto that video, I looked at the comment section, and like 80 to 90% of the comments were just like, Ben, you had this scam artist on there? What's wrong with you? I'm like, clearly none of you people have taken the time to listen to Ty Lopez. You hear the couple little videos that he's got, and I agree. Some of them are sort of shystery sounding. Um, he's got his tone to him, and he is trying to sell stuff. Okay, great. It's a free market economy. You don't have to listen. You can turn it off, right? But he's of interest. A number of different people have decided that he's of interest and worth their time. Um, Grant Cardone, who has helped more businesses in the last several years, like massively improve their bottom line through different sales techniques and other things. Um, mm, Multiple businesses have been benefited by learning from Grant Cardone and his techniques. And Grant and Ty are good buddies. They're hanging now. They've done business together a little bit to try and improve both their brands. But I'm trying to think. There's been Ben and him were hanging out. Like, he invited Ben to be at his place a long while back, and so Ben's sort of just returning the favor in a big way. But Ty's very interesting to listen to. He's had a unique life. He's had unique experiences. He wasn't always in business. So I enjoyed that episode, and I was really put off by all of that. Yeah, I get it. I get all the comments, but at the same time, I get all the why the comments are stupid. Hang on, I gotta backtrack. Hang on just a second. I missed some of this. Let's see here. Is it time to write a rom-com? What? A romantic comedy, gotcha, for Ben Shapiro. Maybe set it up like Home Improvement where Ben is Tim Allen. Well, you see, Ben, the reason that you're having this difficulty talking about Alex Jones on your show is really because there's this ancient psychological archetypal theme runs through the facets of your life, and maybe you need to learn to accept Alex Jones into your heart so that you can understand why you've made the choices you've made. Alex Jones is an archetypal theme. And if you don't spend some of your birch gold on settling that problem, then you'll be plagued by it for the rest of your life. I mean, gosh. Eh? Yeah, I've been having fun with some impressions lately. I've been working on my JPP. And, yeah, just get an A in there every once in a while. tricks, tricks from a rabbit. That's definitely an archetypal theme that goes back into the days of the ancient Sumerians. And they had rabbits running rampant. They were a fertility symbol. And fertility tricks. Do we see that today in our society? Those who want to engage in fertility practices, turning tricks. Ain't say it's there. Perhaps those purveyors of fruit cereal for your children are really purveying an archetypal theme of sexuality. It's just another avenue for pedophiles to infiltrate into the area of the domain of our children. Gosh, it's just horrendous. You can't even imagine. I know, they're everywhere. They're in the tricks. What's going on? Yeah, that was just going off. I don't know where those things are going, but I've had a little more freedom in my mind to uh, pursue some improvisational comedy ideas. I've been very inspired by Owen. He's definitely had some good stuff lately, and I hope he doesn't quit. You know, just trying to take out the pedos. Just expose them for what the fudge they are, because that stuff infuriates me too. I'm a father of four. I find it absolutely reprehensible to damage kids. You know, like, I'm a dad. I make my own mistakes, and I probably just as a dad, you know, have left whatever damage I have on my own children from my own horrible mistakes and choices. But for someone to wantonly go after like fulfilling their own pleasures, right? Or well, actually, to destroy a child by trying to fulfill their own pleasures and stuff like that. That's particularly heinous. It's like Law and Order. Those crimes are especially heinous. Mm. I'm gonna pound that gavel right in their head, right? And that show, like, is from a massively lib network, right? NBC, and even there you had cats like, what was that? Stabler was the character on there, and he was blazing pissed off at the even the thought of a, what he would say, a kitty diggler being in his interrogation room. He had to restrain himself from just beating bloody, right? Where'd that go, NBC? Right? Why aren't we having that attitude? Oh, it was years ago, just a few handful of years ago. What's going on? I'm getting the Crowder high pitched whine when I get excited. I've been watching too many YouTubers. Mm. All right, so I'm back at home. I'm enjoying time with my beautiful lady yesterday. Finally got to relax and rest with her in the evening. For a while, we watched. What did we watch that was silly that I'd never seen all the way through? Maybe I had seen it years ago. Nacho Libre. Watched a little Jack Blackishness. Hang on one second. Children, hey, are you trying to eat? Gerby? Gerby, Chunk, come here, buds. Chunk! I think they're going after some kind of critter. And if they get it, well, good. Maybe there'll be less of them around, but hopefully it's not diseased. Monsieur Moranis. Dude, yeah, for sure. What's that? In my face. 5 golden Cokes, 4 pounds of back bacon, 3 French toasts, 2 turtlenecks, and a beer. Go compound trials should be today. Oh yeah, I missed some of this. Yeah, the chat goes fast for me, as you might know. Mackenzie Brothers. I don't know about that. The old Bob and Doug McKenzie 12 Days of Christmas song. Okay. I don't know about that. I'll have to go check it out. You guys are cracking me up. Hey, get off the chipmunk. Guys, get off the chipmunk. Don't kill it. Junk! No, 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 no. I don't need you eating chipmunks. Off. Off. Go. Go, 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 go. Come on. You don't need to eat the chipmunks in the yard. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on, kids. Here we go. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Chunk. Let's go. Come on, Gerby. Chunk. Gerby, come on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's eating a chipmunk. Oh, it's a mouse. No, it's a mouse. I think it's a little late. I think it's been pretty late. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they just consumed a mouse.
Okay. I didn't.
What's up?
I didn't bring up clothes.
Oh, no, you're fine. Pretty lady's just getting out of the shower and was trying to make sure I didn't accidentally get her on video. Don't worry, it's not gonna get you. You know, a jelly donut wouldn't be bad. Man, yeah, it's a mouse they're eating. That's what's going on. I'm beyond trying to stop it at this point. It's done. They got a little freebie. Did you eat it, Chunk? Did you swallow it whole, or did you let it go? It's probably injured or dead. One of the two. Oh well. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Or 16. Oh, Kiki, are you going full JPB? Are you doing the full carnivore? Because that'd be awesome. Rock on. You're a beast. I have yet to exude that kind of discipline. Well, yeah, sugar's awesome, except that it's not, you know. Flipping addicted to this drug. I know it. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, there was some doggage chasing mice. Honestly, I haven't mowed this lawn since I've been back in the backyard. I've mowed the front yard, and my wife did some of that too. But I haven't had a chance to finish mowing the backyard. So, grass is a little tall. There's probably some field mice here and there that they're getting at. That's not always something I recommend. Let's see, what's going on here? Sorry, I'm touching things on my screen, and it's getting in the way of the camera. I do know how to do that without getting in front of the camera. At any rate, so let's get back to topics at hand. I'm home. I'm enjoying it. I've got some electric drums to try out in my GarageBand app and some other multi-track recording apps. I want to see what I can do with creating some, some electronic drum parts like backing tracks, and then playing acoustic drums over the top of that. You know, to get both of those elements in my music. Good morning, Steve. We're just talking about some bits of me being home and stuff. I also am not usually a fan, honky, of electronic stuff, like just by itself. I do think I enjoy some of the way that how would I put that? The way that you can intertwine certain electronic sounds with acoustic drum tones. Like, I don't want one over the other, right? Yeah, and that brings me, mentioning that, talking about, yes, yeah, and that's another thing, being able to practice on pads as opposed to full loud drums can be nice. For my, hair on my phone. For my wife, more than me, I would much prefer not having that. Yeah, I don't like the gated snare sound either. But I'm going for sounds when I program it that are distinctly not acoustic sounds. Like, I'm not trying to reproduce acoustic drums through the electric at this point. I just accept that it's, kind of like a keyboard. I'm going to pick a sound that's clearly not a piano sound a lot of times. Good morning, Tyler. Good to see you, man. Oh, a little bug right in my face there. Um, so yeah, I want to intertwine some of those things and add that to some of my musical ideas, and I think that'd be a lot of fun to see what I come up with. Oh, excuse me. But if you have any interest in some electronic stuff and you like Jordan Peterson, you got to check out Akira the Dawn. I know Owen talked about it recently, and I actually heard about it in the stream. Like somebody during that stream last week, it was either Wednesday or Thursday, from Owen, mentioned Akira the Dawn. And before Owen checked it, I went and checked it. I think it was one of the super chats had mentioned him. So I went and checked this out. And he had taken bits of different JPP speeches or interviews. And has this one tune called The Wave. Now, I think The Wave is like a whole series of tunes, or is an album or something like that. But there's this Jordan Peterson track called The Wave, like the theme of that song, or the chorus of that song is The Wave. And it's so cool. I think it's mostly taken from JBP's interview with Rogan just recently. The I haven't slept in 27 days interview. The the insanity stuff. That where clearly JBP's in his most healthy fashion. Liberty Snake, great to see you. Great to see Liberty Snake. I'm about to mod Liberty Snake. Where is it? Add mod. Welcome, Liberty Snake. You are a wrench in my channel. Or you were supposed to be. There it goes. There it goes. Yeah, it was you. It was you. I think I remember that now. Dude, Kira was awesome. Oh, I loved his stuff. And I checked out one of his live streams, I think on Thursday or Friday, and got in there. I was just throwing a bunch of questions out there. He answered a whole bunch of mine too. And it was really, really cool to interact with him a little bit. You should have been wrenched a while ago. If you didn't get wrenched, it was not because of any problem I have with you guys. It was purely an oversight on my part. Yeah, that's right. I remember you being there. I totally remember that now. That's awesome. I just had to think about it for a minute. It was so cool to see that. It was just really, really, really cool. Yeah, I got a lot of interesting insight from listening to him and his perspective and his methods. I wanted to go a little deeper. Like, I don't think he fully understood my question, or maybe didn't have the time or inclination to answer it in the depth that I was looking for about how he goes. Oh, he will do an Owen remix, dude. That'd be so sick. That'd be so awesome. It'd probably be even funnier, like as funny as the wrenching was, and the gulag was. Yeah, an Akira tune of some Owen stuff has got to be priceless. Oh man, I'd buy it. I'd totally buy it. Yeah, I wanted to know more about how he goes, like how he breaks down his process and most efficiently gets work done, right? Because that's a struggle for me, being able to take a task and break it into smaller bite-sized bits so I can accomplish things consistently according to a pattern of action. Like I know I can go and sit down at my laptop, open up my recording apps, and say, okay, I'm going to take whatever idea that I had earlier, and then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, and after X amount of steps, there should be a complete product. I should have a song finished. Because that's how I've been taught it works best time over time, or time after time, is to actually get one song done, right? And I see guys accomplishing this in their car. Like I've watched a video of a guy who, day after day, he would, at his lunch break, go in his car and just record with his MacBook and a nice mic, one instrument at a time, and create this amazing song. In fact, he took the drum set and recorded one part of the drum set at a time. And little by little, he built this tune. And it was really, really well done. If I find the link for that, I'll definitely share it. Yeah, that stuff fascinates me, to learn how to streamline the process so that I can say, okay, I know I can work on this process of creating a song and I'm gonna have to check that out, KK. I can work in this process of creating music, and I can work on individual parts of that process to get them more efficient, to just improve them so that I have better quality um, product to put out, better quality music to share. My dogs are massively intrigued by the birds and the chipmunk sounds. We do have chipmunks out here. Oh, Kiki, consider it listened to. That's fixing to happen. In fact, well, sorry, I just clicked the link in the middle of my live stream and it paused me. I didn't mean to do that. Hang on. No, cancel. Stop it. Yeah, sorry I paused you guys for a moment there. Oh, yeah, 10-minute song? Okay, so if you don't know this about me, and I think most of you do, I grew up listening to Rush and Dream Theater and Steve Vai and a lot of other progressive rock music, right? It's a staple in progressive rock music to, from time to time, have these long, epic songs. Um, a classic one from Rush is called 2112, and it was originally, the original version was 21 minutes and 12 seconds long, and it was this epic long song. So I'm used to long songs. I love long songs. I'm all about it. That's why I took so well to long form interviews when I started catching that wave. Heck yeah, 2112. People know what the heck I'm talking about. Y'all know what that's all about. And later on, I discovered stuff from groups like Dream Theater, um, where they had a 72-minute album that was essentially, one song, but it was all different sections. Excuse me, divided up into separate tracks. But it was this one long story. Sorry, a little. I need to eat. I have only had coffee. My body's saying, "You haven't eaten. How dare you?" I'm keeping eyes on a wasp that was over here. We've got a little nest of them that we've got to destroy. Steve, oh, you're killing me, brother. 2112 gave you wood. Yeah, not a fan of the wasps. Yeah, feel free to just send me a PayPal to help me get rid of wasps if you want, or pool your money together and a bunch of you try out Neuro 67. And I want to hear how Neuro 67 helps the community. I'd really love to see some feedback results on the Neuro 67 from a different group of folks. That'd be fun. Freebird, yeah, exactly. 17-minute long thing. Dream Theater had this album they did a while back. It was called Octavarium, and was it called Octavarium? I think so. It was like almost 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. It was a song about a dude going insane, like going crazy, little bit by little bit. And it was just fun. One of my favorite tunes of theirs, really in-depth song. Like there's a whole 7-minute long keyboard solo that starts the song out. And then the full band comes in, and they actually performed it with a full orchestra live. That's insane. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, the SRV stuff was great. That was fantastic. You're right. That's where it's at, honky. I know, you know what's up. All right, so kick it. That will be watched. Consider it watched. Let's see here. Trying to think what else. Yeah, check out Akira, The Dawn, if you haven't yet, because you're gonna love it. The Wave, Jordan Peterson's The Wave, or his Jordan Peterson, The Wave is the name of that track, I believe. Yeah, I hear you on the Coheed Cambria. I liked Home. I think was the only track I ever got into of theirs. It was just, it had a good groove to it. And that dude's voice reminded me of, like a Rush tone, like older Rush. So I could get into Claudio's voice. That was fun. But their whole concept album idea that they connected what they were doing with some comic book or graphic novel that they'd put out a while back, that was a cool thought. I liked that idea. Yeah, so longer songs, I'm totally down with that. And I guarantee I'm going to have some longer songs at some point. But let's see here. So what else is up? I am. I was doing some impressions for people earlier. I think one of these podcasts, I might just sit through and do all the different impressions I do. I've done my Elmo from time to time. I need to create a comedy bit because the more I'm watching comedy, I feel like compelled to do it. I wonder if I'd be any good at it. I feel like I'd probably have an inclination since I don't mind making a fool of myself regularly. Um, I do it whether I want to or not. Um, Emma needs a glass of lemonade. it it's people talking, Gita. People that live next door are talking. They're allowed to do that. Oddly enough, it's okay. Spectrum puppy, rain dog. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Definitely people talking. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Charlie Babbitt. Uh-oh. Say hi. Oh, you're such a good puppy. Okay, Sesame Street. Today we're going to talk about a book called the Gulag Archipelago. Emma doesn't almost know how to say Gulag Archipelago or what it means. But, Maria came over and she told Elmo, but these days, who knows whether it's a he or she, or a they or a thee. Maria came over and told Elmo, that a gulag was where people go to jail, like the neighbor down the street, 'cause you know Sesame Street's in the ghetto, and the ghetto's pretty much socialist at this point. It's pretty sad. Let's ask a baby what they think of socialism. Hi, baby. Do you like getting everything for free? Do you like to be in your crib all the time in your own little gulag? Baby, it's so funny. He's pretty much living in a socialist world. I mean, you think about it. He's talking to these babies that do get everything handed to them by their their overlords, so to speak. Muppet totalitarianism, exactly. They're put in a playpen or something, their own little like crazy busy. But today, if you've got time today, I want to hear your story. I want to hear your story about um, working for SpaceX. That would be interesting. I want to hear about that. The Muppet Gulag. Boy, that would be amazing if I could get something like that doing. Like if I could paste together a bunch of Muppet clips and stuff like that and turn it into the Muppet Gulag. That'd be fun. Elmo's gotta let this big, heavy pickaxe out to the yard and break up rocks, 'cause the mean Cossacks are forcing Elmo to work until he's frozen to the foam. I was gonna say the bone, but we all know it's not in there, just the foam. Re-education camps, that's awesome. Muppet Lego. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Hey, Ernie. Ernie, I think your problem. I know you're trying to play the sax, but here's what I think is wrong. It's rubber and it cracks. Ernie gotta lay down the ducky. There's your Hoots the Owl. Same guy as Elmo, by the way. That's Kevin Clash, who supposedly is a pedo. I don't know. Um, Supposedly him and Jeff Smith from the Frugal Gourmet, which was not Sesame Street, but it was on PBS, and I grew up watching. Apparently, he's a pedo too. I don't know all that details there, but it wouldn't surprise me, if that went on. I hope it's not true, but I don't know. I think he stepped down from being Muppet Captain and left it to somebody else because he was like the leader on the show. He was a captain or some jazz like that. Elmo still has his cup, but Elmo had to sharpen his wood spoon into his shank. This is very honest mean. Let me read it like Elmo. Elmo still has his cup, but Elmo had to sharpen his wooden spoon into his shank. 'Cause pretty darn is mean. Skeletal Elmo. I'm trying to think of what other ones I could do. I used to do Gonzo. Gonzo I had going a little bit. Mm, Gonzo's nose wasn't as accepted in socialist culture because not everybody else had a nose like me. So clearly, because I was different, I didn't fit in, and we can't have that. We had to have some conformity. Who else am I thinking I used to do? Gonzo's a tough one to keep up for long. I don't know how. I think it was Steve Whitmore who did Gonzo's voice. Could be wrong on that. But I think Steve Whitmore later did Kermit. JVP. Too high pitched there. It's Geddy Lee Kermit going on for a second. Hey ho, Kermit the Frog here. Today, we'll be discussing the facets of various different ideologies from civilizations past and present. It's tough to keep up with Kermit for long too. You got to really tighten up your throat muscles a little bit. Restrict the airflow through the throat. I'm always interested in the mechanics of how to get those going. You know what? Gonzo might have been Frank Oz. I know Kermit was Frank Oz. Oh, no. I'm sorry. No, hold on. Frank Oz is Fozzie, Bert. Who else was Miss Piggy, Animal. Those are Frank Oz's, right? Those are all Frank Oz characters. Gonzo, I think, was Steve Whitmore. Oh, you're talking about Liberty Snake. You talking about the two-headed monsters? I could never do those. I think those were Jerry. Why can't I think of the guy's name now? He passed away. He did Count Von Count and a whole bunch of others. Jerry something. I can't think of. Hey, Mama Bear, what's happening? Oh, Kermit and JVP. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't say that part before. Yes, they you would think that they were conjoined twins. Been rocking some impressions in here of Muppets and things, Mama Bear. But who else was I thinking of that's fun to impersonate? Y'all don't know my chaplain at the base, Mike Doan. He's a great guy, and I was doing an impression of him, and we were having fun talking about that. It was it kind of got me on the track of thinking about the impressions I've done over the years for fun, and ones that I had any halfway decent capability to do were all foam rubber characters, largely. Because I watched so much Sesame Street growing up. That's why I used to be a lot more soy in a lot of ways. Oh, the yip yups. Yep. Yep. Love to you too, Mama Bear. Glad you could come. Tall guy, dark hair from Virginia. Who you talking about? Beaker. That's how his mouth would open too. I could never do Bunsen very well. Bunsen was his buddy. Oh, man. Yeah, I wasn't planning on throwing out a bunch. Can I do Big Bird? Yeah, Carol Spinney had an amazing tonality to his voice. Like the natural tone of Carol Spinney's sounds. Because he was Oscar and he was Big Bird. And that dude just... Not only did he do the voices amazingly, but he was also in the Big Bird costume, right? That 9-foot tall flipping costume, and he was constantly in that thing doing the Big Bird character, plus the voice. So, a lot of respect for Carol Spinney. That guy was amazing. Wah, 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 wah. Hi, I'm Big Bird. I can't. It's a little deeper than. Hi, I'm Big Bird. It's almost there. It's not quite. I'm pressing in on my larynx right here. I'm Big Bird. Like I said, I've talked with him a little bit over chat in live stream. Akira the Dawn. I'm telling, Slaughter Bartfest there. Um, I liked his tune, The Wave, the Jordan Peterson one, because he got a whole album I think called The Wave. Oh yeah, Snuffy I think was Snuffy and Telly Monster. I think um, we're all Carol Spinnies. I think you're right. Um, yeah, he just really has a cool approach. Um, Shylock. Sorry, I'm catching everybody's different comments. Uh, yeah, Snuffy was supposed to be an imaginary friend. They played with that for a long time, but eventually it seems like he was a regular character. I never knew whether he was actually real or not. Well, he must have been because he had his sister around there too. Um, they made him think he was an imaginary friend, but he might have been real too. You never knew for sure what was going on. Yeah, he did freak kids out. Forgetful Sam. I don't remember Forgetful Sam. Yeah, he's definitely a libertarian guy, Akira. Um, and he's just constantly motivated to push out more music. Plus, he live streams a bunch of his music. Like he'll do live streams where it's just him playing music for a long time. I think that's awesome. That's way cool. That's a great idea to share your stuff out there with people, and you still have ways to monetize what you're doing, right? So if he's created a life off of his music effectively, great. That's a hero to me. That's someone I want to watch and get more information from. Hooper, Mr. Hooper's store. Yes. Um, that guy was pretty awesome. Was he a drunk? I don't know. I don't know. I never thought about that. I'd have to go back and check. He could have been. Let's see here. Um, I want to remember Jerry Nelson. Jerry Nelson was who did Count Von Count and the Two-Headed Monsters. Um, yeah, I think Crowder did have some Muppet sketches that were pretty silly, and I think Elmo was involved in one or two. I remember the Hole in the Bucket skit. Yes, that was one of my faves growing up. Two-Headed Monsters used to have me rolling though. Like my son Morgan, he will. We watch Brian Regan comedy bits together. Like that's something I can do with all my kids, and they love Regan. They love some of that stuff. Like the bit where he's like, and this is all. I'm not stealing it. I'm just sharing it because it's some of my favorite bits, and most people know it by now. Like, yeah, I wasn't feeling so good, so I had to drive myself to the hospital. You know, that's a weird experience driving yourself. You know, or no, he's like, no, that's not what he said. He said I had to call an ambulance. Call an ambulance for yourself, right? That's a weird experience. Hey, can you come get me? You know, and my son's already. It's like the first joke out the gate, and he's already busting out laughing, right? But I ended up having to drive myself. You know, like that's a relaxing drive. No, go ahead. You go ahead. Merge, everybody, merge. I'm just imploding. You say imploding like that, just one time, and my son is doubling over, almost not able to breathe, laughing so hard. Right? That's how I used to be about the two-headed monster. Right? They'd like drive a car into a wall like full force. They'd be like cheering the whole way, drive car, you know, and that sounds more like Animal than it does Two-Headed Monsters because I don't have the Jerry Nelson tone. But and then they'd crash and you'd see bricks flying and I would be dying laughing. Oh man, some of those bits back in the day for Sesame Street were funny. And it's funny, and you know, now that I think about all of that, shows like Sesame Street and um, I caught a MASH rerun um, the other night. I was over at the house with that dog Sadie and that kitten Brutus that I was sharing with you last week. Um, Staying over taking care of them for my wife because she was already taking care of another several pets at another family's house. But the family I was staying at, they invite us to check out their television while we're there, and they have cable and stuff like that. And there was some channel on there that was doing a marathon of old MASH reruns. And I hadn't watched MASH since I was a kid. I used to love watching MASH late at night. Good stuff. But I didn't realize just like how soy it was, and Sesame Street too. And they were softer soy back then than they are now, right? Well, MASH isn't now, but would be if it was on. Um, Star Trek: The Next Generation, I grew up watching, and that's extremely soy. And then they get further forward with was it the Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and eventually they had what was it, Enterprise, right? Which was like going back to the times before Captain Kirk, like when humans were just like creating the Starfleet or whatever in the whole Star Trek universe. And they had the Quantum Leap guy as the captain. Deep Space Nine was sort of soy in the first half. They got less soy when they were actually fighting a war, right? When they were actually trying to destroy evil. But even then, there were some pretty soy moments. So yeah, I won't say it was entirely soy, but I think they got so soy with the Voyager stuff. But my point is just to say I wasn't aware of it back then. I didn't really process it in the same way until I got older. Um, and then yeah, very lib, very lib, and I didn't, yeah, like, okay, so one of the first episodes of the Voyager series, like, they have this guy that they brought onto their ship who was an alien from the far reaches of the galaxy, and they were stranded on that far reaches, and this alien was going to be a friend and help to him. And he's been training to try and integrate himself into the crew. Um, so they go on this away mission thing to check out this planet where they might have some stuff down there they can mine for fuel. And turns out it's fake. It's not real. The stuff's actually just a smoke screen there to try and lure people in. And there's some other aliens out there that steal organs from people because they contracted some disease way back in the past that caused their bodies to deteriorate. So they just steal organs from other people. They can like zap you and beam the organs right out of your body. So they steal this dude's lungs, right? And then they catch the dudes that took the lungs, right? And like the captain is like, well, I can't just kill you and take the lungs back. Yes, you can. These people are like violent against your people, even though they have some kind of crazy disease. They're lecherous against you, and you're like, well, we have to obey the prime directives, and we have to be virtuous and noble. It's like, you could have taken those flipping people out and said, no, you put yourself in that situation by taking my dude's lungs in the first place. Your people created this disease that then turned back on you and killed you, however it went down. That's not our fault, right? We got to protect our own. But I guess they worked it out where the people were willing to put another lung. Like they should have said, like right up front, like they're like, we have this major dilemma, and it's like, well, we can solve that problem. There should have been no dilemma. It should have been like an ultimatum, like either you fix the problem, and that guy that stole the lungs should still have been like in prison or whatever. Should have had some sort of punishment. But I don't know. There were a lot of moments in that show that I look back on now, and I'm like, wow, that's massively libtarded, And I know that's comedically lazy, but and I love liberal people. I love liberal people, right? But not some of the ideas. I'm not saying they should just go out and kill everybody, but when people are trying to kill them, it's totally justifiable, right? It's not like the Snapped episode that Big Bear talks about with a lady who missed her family that moved away and just like shot her husband in the middle of the night. That's not a justifiable kill. In the Voyager case, that was a justifiable kill, right? I'm just saying. At any rate, so I grew up watching all these shows. That's the bigger point I was trying to talk about, and I got way sidetracked here. Surprise. I squirreled myself. They were way more soy than I realized back in the day. Yeah, organ stealing is pretty creepy, but they were like super lib, and I didn't understand the difference as much. And as I got older, I saw the things that were extolled as virtues from what would be considered more liberal thinking and ideology. And as I had children and a home, I began to think, I don't agree with those things as being virtues, because they don't seem to lend toward that over time in societies. It's good to be compassionate and kind to people on a one-on-one basis individually, but larger organizations uh, ought not to make their policies that kind of thing. You know, they need to be there to protect the group, in a sense. Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. There's some unsettling things. I remember my kids used to be big fans of, what was it? Honku said something about Henson created a bunch of archetypes and attempted to dictate how they should be responded to. Sesame Street was sort of propaganda for kids. I would say yes. I think so. Um, I think that a lot of Sesame Street was propagandish, and that's what I'm thinking of here. I remember my kids watching Elmo's World. We had like DVDs of Elmo's World as they were growing up, and sometimes Elmo's World left me a little unsettled. You know, it's like I feel like my kids could be grabbing a hold of things that are a little deeper. You know, and getting their there you go. Get a Vikings quote in there. I love that. Good job, Mayor. A little Lagartha. The was it? What did she name herself later on? Earl something. She was Earl of her little village. Um, Earl Ingstadt. Yeah, Ingstadt. That's who she was. There's a series. Yeah, yeah, I would agree. Jim had a different view of things. I don't know. It's interesting to see how much. I guess that's the thing I was getting at. It's interesting to see how much liberal influence I had growing up, and yet I. And it's funny, my dad's and mom's parents were far more right than either of my parents are. Um, both my parents have spent a lot of time in the academic world, and I love them for that. That's great. Everybody's liberal when you don't pay for your own stuff. I've had a lot of opportunities to not pay for things, and I think I still have some very liberal attitudes um, about things. Like not necessarily the way I think in my mind, but I behave liberally at times, and I'm aware of that, and I don't like it. I see that it can be very easy to just lean on certain things. Like um, in the last 6, 7 years, my folks have really, really, really been there for me in a lot of ways. They were there for me when I was growing up. Um, does God forgive a justified kill? I think so. Because, and I'll answer that real quick. I'll sidetrack on Blue Sky's comment. Um, the commandment in Exodus that was given to the Israelites was not "Thou shalt not kill." It was translated that way in the King James version of the Bible, which is still a great version. But it what's good about it is that where there are errors in the translation or less than perfect translations of certain passages or words, it's well known now because it's over 400 years old, right? We're aware of where those things are, so that's why I like it, because you can easily understand how to translate a word better. You just go to different references and understand the language a little bit, and you can get the concept of a passage a lot better by tracing it back to the original language. But that said, the passages or that commandment was "Thou shalt not murder," right? "Thou shalt not uh, kill an innocent," not "Thou shalt not kill." Killing was justified in a number of situations, and there were even circumstances for someone biblically who had killed someone in what we would call manslaughter, right? You're right, Steve, exactly. Yeah, if it was a manslaughter issue, they actually had this system in ancient Israel. They say, okay, look, you're going to create 6 cities of refuge, right? If you are out, and they give it a scenario, if you're out like chopping wood and stuff with your neighbor, and the head of the axe slips off and hits your neighbor in the back of the head, um, then that's just the name we call that version. But I hear you, Honky. I agree. Um, if you accidentally kill your neighbor, then you got to hightail it to a city of refuge. Let's say that, yeah, the head of the axe slips off while you're chopping. It was not intentional. You didn't have malice in doing it. It was just an unintentional thing. The next of kin of that person may be so enraged that they're dead that they may seek to kill you, right? And that could happen, right? So we're going to put some circumstances on this. If you didn't do it, if you're innocent, go to the priests in charge in one of the 6 cities of refuge within the country of Israel here. And if you can make it there ahead of the Avenger of Blood, the next of kin of this family that has rights to seek your blood for killing their family member, like I'm going to value the passion of that person in not wanting to see their family killed. And I'm going to value your right to live having not done this intentionally, right? Exactly. And so I'm going to give place to both of you. There's special circumstances under where it's justified for killing. You get to the city of refuge if you didn't do it, right? But there, the priest will have the ability to decide in an arbitration what really went on there, right? And judge whether or not you actually did this intentionally or not. And if it's found that you clearly did not, then you'll be safe in one of the cities of refuge, right? Until the high priest of the nation dies, right? Then everything's back to zero. Like the Avenger of Blood doesn't have rights to kill you. You don't have to stay in the city of refuge to be safe, right? It's all worked out for you. Yeah, and it was actually not just the Latin that was translated. Like for the King James, they went back and used a lot of William Tyndale's work in translating from the original Greek, from the New Testament stuff that he translated. Original Greek, though I personally think that most of the New Testament was probably originally transmitted in Hebrew. And as you read it, you can see that there's a lot of figures of speech. There's a lot of structure to it that smacks of being Hebrew in its origins, translated later to Greek because that was the commercial language of the day. Armenian, what is happening, dude? Yeah, the Vulgate was later. That was, I believe, Jerome, who was a translator of the Latin Vulgate. But, and he didn't have as much to work with at that time. Wycliffe, I think, was involved in some of that. A guy named Wycliffe who did some of the translative work to Latin. Hang on a second. Excuse my nose. Woohoo! Good morning. Beekeep. Awesome. Beekeep's up in here. That's awesome. Did Beekeep get a wrench? Does Beekeep not have one? Or is that Armenian as Beekeep? It's Beekeep. Oh, Beekeep's leaving. Okay, cool. Yeah, William Tyndale was I remember he was kept in a dungeon. I didn't remember that he was put at the stake. Yeah, he what he did was just translative work. This was before the King James, like in the 1500s. He was persecuted pretty heavily for that. But some of his work was pivotal in what the King James translators used. And then they had, a big slew of people to translate from the original Hebrew in the Old Testament, and bring us a modern English version. And was there some underhandedness here and there? People have said negative things about King James and that whole translated process. Of course, there's always going to be problems. Like the NIV. I have a whole bunch of problems with the NIV, right? I'll read one, but I do so knowing there's clearly some biases there. Differences in opinion about which manuscripts to base off of. So there's a body of manuscripts known as the Textus Receptus, which is this larger body of text, a much larger body of ancient manuscript that actually are in agreement as to what is written. There's a lot less variance within them, over 5,000 different pieces of manuscript. Then there's the Alexandrian manuscripts, which were found in the remains of the libraries at Alexandria. Yes, honky. Well put, the nearly inspired version. Some people say if you read it, you're NIV positive, right? But I don't hate on it. I mean, I'm just aware of what's there, right? What's going on there. Their mentality and using the Alexandrian manuscripts, they were clearly composed earlier, right? And so their thought is, if it was written earlier, composed earlier, it's probably better. Not necessarily. The Textus Receptus manuscripts that we have a larger body of, there's more evidence to it, and yes, it was around the was it 10th century AD, 9th or 10th century AD. The Masorite scribes had preserved a lot of these manuscripts over time, and they'd even preserved like the vowel markings and things like that because most people didn't just instinctively speak ancient Hebrew in that way, and so they didn't necessarily know how to pronounce certain things. So they put in vowel markings to make sure that people understood this is how that language actually flows. You don't usually you just infer where the vowel points and things like that go, or which vowel fits in a word, because the majority of the letters in the language are consonants, right? There's a few that work as vowels, like the aleph. You'd think of an A as a vowel, but it usually is like what they call a coescent letter. It's more of a silent thing for structure, and it does serve as a vowel a lot of times. There's a vav, which is a V sound, but it also functions as an O. So there's a few different letters that have that functionality. They work as vowel sounds, as well as being consonants. But at any rate, so the Masoretes preserved a lot of that, and there was a lot of scholarly thinking throughout the 60s, you know, mid 19 throughout the 20th century. You like this? Let's see. I didn't see what you said. You know this? I don't know what's going on over there. Dog's barking at something. Probably a bunny rabbit. At any rate, so yeah, to sum it all up, got lost a little bit. The different types of manuscripts. Yeah, my nose was a little rough today. Getting used to being back in my own yard. And dogs barking. That's always fun. So yeah. Oh, it's my pretty lady putting stuff in the garbage can. Hi, pretty lady. You're heading out? I'll give you kisses. He's inside.
Hi.
We have a wonderful lady, beautiful dog walking lady. There she goes. Beautiful dog walking lady. And the dogs. Oh, there comes Gerby.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, excuse my nose. Always good to get a little beautiful lady bear shot. Good lady. The dogs just bounced on the door so hard it opened. What was that? Baratic? Who's got blood in their caffeine stem? What? Caffeine steam? I don't know. That's bad. I missed it. Super caffeinated today. I can be. You might be talking about somebody else. At any rate, I'm gonna stop here. But I wanted to finish my thought correctly. Okay, so yeah, the different bodies of manuscripts and the idea from translators throughout the 20th century. Yeah, she is a beautiful lady. The idea was that older is better, but that's not necessarily the case. The Alexandrian manuscripts, that's the other part about that, were largely put together by a group of people in the early first century time known as the Gnostics, right? A lot of people have Gnostic belief, and Gnosticism, it believed certain things that were scriptural, but added a lot of stuff to it. And the idea of a lot of Gnostics was that weightier matter for your salvation was that you acquire knowledge, that you're seeking to grow in the mystical secret knowledge. And that is where your salvation comes from, in seeking to learn the hidden wisdoms and things like that. And a lot of societies like Freemasonry and things like that have similar views that that's the hang on, Kodiak, what? At Big Drum Bear. I can see you. Big Drum Bear, can you see this? What can I see? I can see you. I'm sorry, I'm just talking a lot. What's the... Oh, I do have a lot of dogs, it's true. What's the 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 thing going on there? Ooh, bug in my eye. I don't know, what was your joke? I missed it. No notifications today. What's the Tommy reference? Cody. No, I knew you were there, Kodiak. I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned you or talked about you. You probably had some funny stuff going on there that I missed. Cody's got his blood in his pet caffeine stream. I'm sorry to hear that. That's not good. I think you should see a doctor. It is good to be the king. Yes, I'm sifting back and seeing what I missed. If I miss you, it's just because I'm trying to keep my thoughts together. I'm not ignoring you. I'll come and get you eventually. But if you can see I'm just trying to get somewhere, don't worry. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to keep my thoughts together. It's difficult. Big Bear will ignore the chat completely until he's done talking about what his main point is. I try to still engage it to some degree, but as this gets bigger, I'm gonna have to say, okay, I'll get to super chats and I'll read more of the chat once I get done talking about whatever I'm going to be talking about. But I didn't plan all of this either. Some of this is spur of the moment that I choose to focus on. So at any rate, okay. Biblical Matters, King James Version, cool book. Later versions kind of weird. Yeah, I'm going all the way on you. Later versions like the NIV and the RSV had bias in the way that they were put together, just like King James did. And my point is that all versions have some degree of bias in the way that they were put together. But this mentality of using manuscripts that were largely compiled by people of Gnostic belief and background, maybe even angel worship is something that's appropriate. We should delve into to some degree. Some groups of Gnostics felt that way, and various Illuminati type groups would probably hold more Gnostic type beliefs. Not all, but I'm sure there are plenty of them out there that I've encountered, at least people from them that I've encountered. So that type of thinking, that belief structure is what motivated the Alexandrian manuscripts to a large degree. You can see that in the way that the modern versions are put together. Go look at the NIV, Acts chapter 8, verse 37. You can read it like verse 34, 35, 36, 38. 37 is not even in the text. It's put like in a footnote in a lot of versions. And there are plenty of other sections where entire sections of verse are taken out because most manuscripts don't have this, or certain manuscripts don't have this, so we're just not going to put it in the body of the text. And there's lots of other semantics and behind why they wouldn't. I get they have like arguments for it. As I've delved into some of those arguments, I would say, I'm thinking you're wrong. They're like, a well-meaning scribe probably added this. Illuminati, that's good, Armenian. I like that. You know what? I gotta get some Kleenex. My nose is on fire today. On fire. And I don't like to have a funky nose while I'm doing a live stream, because you guys deserve better. Really, the Nag Hammadi Gnostic stuff. Realize that the problems of Gnosticism promotes works-based salvation. Largely, that's the case. I think that's a good sum up of what of that philosophy. It is about that. It's about what can I do to make myself better that I can merit salvation. It's very antithetical to the entire message that you read any of the Gospels that Jesus was talking about. Stand by one moment here. I'm gonna show you a dog while I do this. Hey, dogs. Hey, we got rid of that brown couch that had the pleather that was flaking, and somebody gave us this nice little futon, and it's pretty nice. Where'd you go? Blow my trumpet for a minute, and I just say hi to Chunk and here's Chunk. Hi, Chunk. You say hi to the people. Say what's up, Gita. Are you happy that Dad's home? Are you happy that Dad and Mom are back home? You got to sleep in bed last night, didn't you? With your mama and your daddy. You're a Gerby. You've been eating mice, haven't you? You been chewing on a mouse? Yeah, you're a mouse slayer. That's what you are. You're vicious. You guys are funny. All right. I'm in good sorts now. But at any rate, so read whatever version you want. Dig into any biblical version. I have several, right? In my phone, even. And I recommend comparing different versions. Read one against another. and it'll give you interesting perspective. Because you'll see how different versions were put together, and you're going to say, like, how in the world did they come up with a meaning like this for this passage? It'll definitely strike you as interesting. But I like the King James for study because it's easy to reference things. Most concordances are geared toward that, and a concordance is not an end all to study. Like, you'll look up a word in a concordance and, oh, I got it figured out. That's why I have, wow, that really makes my face impossible to see. I'm gonna spiral like Big Bear because you can't see my face. Camera's going light and dark. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. But it's funny to reference that because we all know, and it's pretty silly. Christianity is a covenant. If you sign the covenant and accept Christ, then he is the only path to salvation for a Christian. If you aren't a Christian, other avenues are available. Yeshua said, all men come to the Father through me. Salvation is a gift, purchased with his blood, freely given by the Father. It's amazing to dig into those fundamentals about Christian doctrine and faith. And as I read the Bible over the years of my life, I take it more seriously than I did before. Like, things like that, the typical ways of thinking about certain doctrines don't go far enough. Like, they're deeper than I thought. Like, whatever it meant for Christ to climb up on that cross. And again, this is my perspective. I totally respect and understand not everybody that comes in here may hold that view. But I talk about it freely because it is mine, and it's my live stream. So there you go. Yeah, it fascinates me. It fascinates me to understand just how deep some of those things really are. Like, okay, so Dr. Peterson, for example, he gets asked the question, are you a Christian, or what's the deal? And he often answers, like, I act as though I am, right? A lot of people think he's just given a dodge, right? He's just he's being slippery. He's not answering the question. I understand that he's not. Like, he's looking at that issue from a very complex standpoint. And it doesn't necessarily have to be complex, and yet it can be at the same time. It's like it's not one or the other. It's both simultaneously. I remember a great Bible teacher that I used to listen to when I was deployed, Chuck Missler. Dr. Chuck Missler, rest in peace. He just left us some months ago to go be with his wife, Nancy, who passed some years back before. Both were wonderful folk. And he had said, the scripture in his readings of it over the years was shallow enough that a child could wade in it and deep enough that an elephant could immerse in it. Like, some of the core principal truths were so simple you could grab a hold of them very easily, and other truths, well, I mean, even those same truths had levels of depth to them that you could spend your entire life pondering them and never fully still comprehend them. And I think that's certainly true. Like, even the concept of, like, salvation, what does that even mean, right? So an ultimate, supreme being created this universe, and this is just for the sake of argument here, putting this idea forward. Let's say that's the case, as I think it is. An ultimate supreme being put together the universe and decided, I want to have, hey, Tyler, welcome back. I want to have a creation. I want to have a human being that's a part of that creation. I want to have like this creature that is capable of interacting with me and choosing to love me back, right? Having the ability to return. Well, how would I put that? To commune with me, to learn and grow, to be able to exercise will, and I want to compel them over time to win them to love me, to woo them in loving me. And I them. I want to show them the concept of ultimate love. Like, first, what is love, right? We have to define what we're talking about. Gita, hello. Would you like to come and sit on the couch with me instead of barking at nothing? I know it's probably a noise out back that you're probably upset by. My dear Spectrum puppy. She really is Rain Dog. Come here, puppy. Come here. You want to come say hi to the people? Well, Chunk will. He's going to come right up here. Come on. Up. Over here. You come up here. Come on. No? Not going to come on the couch? You're just going to be a punk. He's just gonna be a punk chunk. Hi, he's a good boy. Yeah. Tell the people about how you like to read the Bible with us. Yeah. You gonna shake? Shake that head? Yeah, give me that paw. Give me that paw. Yeah. You're a good shaker. You're a good shaker. I know, I just missed my dad. My dad was gone, he was not here. And then he came back, and then he was gone again, even though he's here. We were with some other dog, and my mom was with another dog too, and some cats. I don't know why you'd be with cats. They're like um a teddy bear and a cactus had a baby, and it's much less fun to play with than you would think. So I don't know why he would want to play with cats and not me. I mean, all you have to do is give me blueberries, and then I'm a happy puppy, and that's what I tell him. I love being a chunk. And it's so much fun. I'm gonna nibble on his fingers. It's good. That's my dog. Love it, Chunk. He's pretty funny. He thinks he's Hopper. He thinks he's just like Hopper. Um, I'll let him think that. He does like the blueberries pretty dramatically. That's my other impression. I can do it to Hopper. But that's just because it's fun. So at any rate, um, ultimate love. What is that? What does it look like? What is love? Right? I think love is an action. It's been a verb in the most ancient of languages. It's something you do, and it has other components to it. Parenting, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to get on that. You're right. That would be so ironic if Crowder's people sent out a cease and desist because I was impersonating Hopper. Oh my gosh. Oh, speaking of laughing out loud, that's one thing I got to share before I go. Um, let's see here. Let's see here. I was just looking at some of the chats that I hadn't read yet. Hey, Honky, good link there. That's a good deal, man. I was gonna say you told a joke, Honky. You told a joke when that I think his name was David, guy who was blind and was enjoying the stream last week. You told a joke because we started talking about Helen Keller, and you said something about Helen Keller went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in her hat, and called it murder her. And I have repeated that joke like to myself and others a handful of times over the last several days, and almost every time I have busted out laughing because it's so ridiculous. It's so funny. I don't know why, but that was striking me as awesome. And I had to think through it too because that was enjoyable. It's like it's not making fun of Ellen Keller at all. It's telling the truth. She couldn't speak. She couldn't, or she couldn't. She couldn't hear or see, and didn't quite know how to speak. Merum. Merum. It just got me, man. Like I wasn't seeing it coming, and that's how comedy works best. Yeah, I heard she was a bit commie. I don't know as much about her philosophy. I'd have to read more of her books, but um, I know that just thinking about that, it's like good comedy gets you and the listener going in the same direction, and then you switch gears on them, go the opposite direction, and reveal something to them that's true, and in a way that brings them joy and satisfaction. It's a blast, and that worked pretty well. Answering the iron. Uh, Turn of the century Fabians. Yeah, I'll have to learn about Fabians a little bit. I think I recall them. I've read some about that. Oh my gosh. Before you go, I want to find out if your Mike Doan is the same guy as my Mike Doan. Probably not. There's no E on the end. Um, and I don't know. He's an older guy now. Well, not that old, in his 50s. It's not too old. He's been a chaplain. I think he used to be active duty. Um, but yeah, he's in the National Guard now. He's a good guy. And should I try to do an impression of Chaplain Doan on my live stream? Gita, relax, dear. She just like bounces up out of nowhere for stuff. Let's see if I can do. Um, Old bit. First, much love to my brother in Christ. Second, check this out. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. No, I got that one. It's another article on that site. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Um, yeah, if he's a chaplain and stuff, it might not be the same Mike Doan. I was going to see if I could get my Chaplain Doan impersonation, but I can't get my voice in the right spot. I'll have to work on that and maybe give it to you another time. Maybe I'll capture a little video of him and then let you see the impression next side to side or side by side. I'm thinking that's probably good for today. I've been jaw jacking and doing silliness, and it's already been like an hour 20. So I'll release you. I release all of you. Yeah, he was a chaplain pretty much his entire time in that I know of. At any rate, I love you guys. Love bears, and I'm really glad to hang out with all you today. Good to be back in my own home. I'm gonna trying to get set up. I have a new app that I'm looking at trying to get things set up on my laptop, where I can stream from there and have a better quality stream. Plug in my like mixer board, where I can plug in the electric drums and a microphone, and maybe even share clips and things like that directly on the screen. Um, oh, Kodiak, I saw some of your new clips that you posted, and they're great. They're fantastic. Absolutely love it. You have been released. No one's leaving there. Oh, that's great, Steve. You're right. You're absolutely right. Uh, man, I'm tired. Cheers for Beardom. That's funny. Yeah, long weekend. I didn't talk about how I survived the weekend. You know what? That's what I'd missed. Tomorrow, I'll get into that. I'll talk about all the gigs and what I did getting from gig to gig and other stuff that was fun that we did. So I took my kids out somewhere cool. We saw fighting robots, and I'll have to tell more about that tomorrow. So, peace to all y'all. And you got back, Dom, just in time for me to turn the stream off. Yes, yes. Dom it. All right, tomorrow more about the gigs this weekend because they were fun. And sorry I couldn't stream from the Springfield one. That had no Wi-Fi down there, no internet at all. It was ridiculous. But I did try. Hey, my Snapchat stock went up. That's good. Yeah, I have some invested in Snapchat, so hopefully I made some money on it. I'll have to go find out. Pinder, you're at 1 p.m., right? 1 p.m. Central Time. Be sure to check out Steve Pinder's stream. Believe coming today at 1 p.m. I always enjoy that. Yeah, Tom's back. We gotta get out of here. 2 p.m. Eastern, right? Exactly. That would be 1 Central, right? Cool. Love you guys. Yeah, I don't know much about stocks and trading. I'm just starting to do some of it on what's it called? Um, Stash, the Stash app. And I've sent the link out one of my previous streams talking about that. I've only got a handful of things going, maybe like 5 or 6 little things. I have like maybe $100 invested. So I'm doing small starting. Just getting a little bit going on it. But I'll share with you what I know. It's very limited. Um, we'll talk about those things. Love you guys. Engage your mind, engage your body, engage your heart. Seek to serve the ultimate purpose. Peace, bears. Love y'all.